None of them want to answer. But if I show WhatsApps, they all messaging me throughout the whole thing. You know what? I'll accept that, man. But let's be real. Let's be real. It weren't good enough. On another day, it weren't good enough. We started the game terribly. When they got their second, I was disappointed because it looked like we quote unquote woke up. I think Arteta subs got him out of jail. The structure was poor. The first touch and the standards were poor. Like I said, if your name's not Declan Rice and the subs, none of them attacking players can really say anything. Saka, you woke up to a degree. Martinelli, I think you tried towards the end. The standards weren't just there. You know what? It's not even a day to be individually looking at people. Like, it weren't good enough from no one. Raya, the less said, the better. Fortunately, it shows the mentality and something that's been with us in that we dig deep and we get something, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I said I would take a point before the game. Fair enough. Definitely with how the game transpired, and I definitely would have taken a point, but it's not good enough. Like, it shows there's a lot that we need to work on. We need to work on a lot, man. We deserve to lose, but if you can't win, don't lose. You man got very lucky, but you need luck in life, you know. You need luck. Lucky Luciano settings. This is what we did. We earned our luck. It's not my fault Sanchez played with fire and Declan Rice burnt him. It's not my fault Trossard is a devilish finisher and Arteta knows when to get these subs. We make your own luck in life. The harder you work, the luckier you get. I think we all aged a bit. Obviously, way up still. We might have caught life. We might have caught life. I define it because you know what they say. There's no easy games in the Premier League. This is a difficult ground to go to. Obviously, you know, you look at someone like Partey, he isn't fully fit. You know, players are carrying knocks. Saka's come back into the team. It shows a lot of mentality here. Arsenal fans, there'll be a time for us to have our internal conversation. But to the world, if you're not an Arsenal fan, we need to be shameless. We need to be shameless. We know the truth. We all know the truth. We know the truth. We know they're not wrong. Ah, man. What's depressing? We are losing and Eddie is coming on for Jesus. End the stream. Never. I'm just going back through life, man. You lot, I've got an emotional journey just reading you lot's messages. The penalty incident. Again, the penalty is one thing, but I mean, Gabriel and Saliba not marking properly, Zinchenko doing poorly. This just shows once again there's so much more things this team can work on, man. There's so many more gears that we need to go up. It was raining, and it's been raining goals, isn't it? Odegaard caught life, Meaty today. Everyone, let's be real, everyone was Meaty. Everything was Meaty. Right, looking like Holdana, well, fair enough. Make sure you lot win. Hey, top blue, I thought we was getting cooked. United fans even tried to twerk for Chelsea. I know some of you always here. Boy, we got out of that. On reflection, Tomiyasu. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Tomiyasu maybe should have started. Maybe even Smith Rowe could have started because he came on for Jorginho, if I'm right. Partey was on the bench and wasn't used, but maybe he should have started. I think either one of Tomiyasu and Partey needed to start. So that means either Zinchenko or Jorginho needed to be on the bench. I don't think Jorginho was terrible. I genuinely thought Zinchenko looked shaky defensively. And again, the goal we scored between Odegaard and Benjamin White, that was horrible, man. Obviously, there's a bit of fortune with it. Raya's positioning is horrible. He has to take responsibility. But yeah, man. Unrealistic. Like it was, man. Unrealistic off-color performance from almost everyone. Tracy's bang on the money there. And we did, let's be real, we waffled about that front three, you know, and it weren't good enough. And it's always the games that Arsenal fans, not myself, this is one thing I'm not included, when you're kind of overconfident with the Chelseas and the Spurs, it's these games that have gone left. The most important thing is we haven't lost. The only thing I'll give my team credit for is that we didn't lose. And we found a way back from 2-0. And I will give Mikel Arteta credit for the subs because at the end of the day, they came and made a difference. And I will give credit to the mentality that has been here at home and away. But let's be honest, we did not start the game well. We did, you know, the first half was atrocious. I was begging for halftime, and we're fortunate that Cole Palmer and Gusto didn't concede. In hindsight, I guess what led to Chelsea's demise is something that we was talking about in that I wouldn't call it brain farts, but there was 1-2 lapses from Gusto, from Levi Colwill, from Sanchez when playing out from the back, from Caicedo when building up play. There was them kind of brain farts, and ultimately it led to their demise, if I'm honest with you. First half, atrocious. Where the first touches are poor. The second touches are poor. If there's too many gaps. We're open on the transition. We're not fighting for the first and second balls. Players don't look like there's an idea. It's far too stale and predictable. Chelsea look like the team, like you would have thought going into this, we was the team that was where Chelsea are. All the things you talk about with Chelsea, with their project, transitional period, new manager, you would have thought they was us and we was them. And we're fortunate to go into halftime, in my opinion, at 1-0. We're very lucky, very lucky. Second half, the subs made a change, and it does show credit that we fought back from the dead, but it's not good enough. The one thing I would say is that we haven't lost, but these things have been there. They've been there against Spurs. They've been there against Chelsea. They've been there against United. They were there against Fulham, and the more you don't learn the lessons when we need to learn from a game like this, when it does happen and you sometimes get the result that you deserve based on the performance, there you have it. End of the day, we nicked it with 30 minutes left. I think Arteta kind of saved himself with the subs. The subs brought something, but at the end of the day, we didn't start the game well enough. We did not start the game well enough, and we're very fortunate, really. I don't want to nitpick at performances because we're all terrible together, but players, the whole structure, defensively and offensively, was terrible. Yes, I sound like a madman because at the end of the day, we got 2 goals, so I can't really say that, but we don't look like a team. We didn't look like a team today that was going to create or really have any shots. The only thing I would say that was throughout, or a constant throughout, is that we dominated possession. That was it. I'm happy that, obviously Declan Rice scored, Saka got an assist, Trossard off the bench. There's a lot of shameless agendas. What a finish that was from Trossard. Let man see that again. Havertz playing a role in that as well. Havertz pre-assist. He gave Saka the ball. Shameless. Boy, Gusto and Reece James went to sleep for that, but you won't see me complain. Done, no? So, yeah, we bust case, man. We got away with that one. We got away with that. We would have got away. We got away with that. We got away with that. That we did. Mentality weren't there. Havertz, you lot know me. I love Kai Havertz to bits, and I'll still defend him. He's still my captain. Abysmal today. As I said, Gabriel Jesus, more so Odegaard, but Gabriel Jesus, Martin Odegaard. If I never would have thought I would say Martin Odegaard's first touch was poor. That is unheard of. Saka didn't look like someone that's fully fit, but that don't really affect anything. We made Saka in the second half. I think he might have taken a painkiller injection or something, but he made Cucurella look like how it should have. We were terrible. Off the ball, the only time I was somewhat comfortable in the first half was, as I said, during the times when we had the ball. Away from that, there's too many gaps on the transition, and I have to give credit to Pochettino because obviously his team have showed immaturity in terms of game management and all of that jazz. But at a time, I did think Sterling on the right-hand side is working a treat. Cole Palmer in the pockets and all of these things. They were quite rigid defensively. Don't get it twisted. Chance creation and chance conversion are still things that we need to do better at. But we got away with it. Yeah, apologies. Odegaard's first touch was horrible, man. Horrible, man. And I don't want to do this thing where, now it's Ramsdale versus Raya. Raya in the big games has looked shaky, but, Ramsdale's my guy. And I'm not saying I don't want him to play, but Arsenal fans, we like to do this thing. And then when the inevitable mistake happens, start getting onto people and whatnot. The link's there, my guy. Someone asked for the Football Blacklist nomination award. There it is, man. If you can't win, don't lose. That's the only luxury. For us, against Spurs, it was a case of it felt like a defeat. Pardon me, and it felt like a victory for them to a degree. For us, it feels like a victory. We've snatched something from the jaws of defeat. We was 2-0 down, and between the 84th minute and the 77th, we've nicked it in it really and truly. We have nicked it. Even in that first half, for large periods of the game, the only chance I saw of note, I saw Martinelli have some effort that went wide. Declan Rice, remember when he broke into the final third and he's looking to lay it across the area and it didn't happen. Jesus earned the corner. But it was me. The penalty, the build up to the penalty annoys me more than the pen because in today's day and age, I've seen them given. I don't agree that these things are penalties, but I've made peace with that's what they're doing in it. Like that's what they're doing in this world. That's where it is. I don't know what they want Saliba, Keane, all of these guys to do, like chop their arms off when they're jumping for the header. It is what it is. So it's more the build up to that. The second goal is atrocious. Raya's obviously going to be the poster boy and he has to hold his licks. But Odegaard and Benjamin White, what are we doing? And that was a reflection many a time because there was many brainless moments. Raya had one of them dodgy passes where they didn't take advantage of it. We're very fortunate. Very fortunate today. And sooner rather than later, unfortunately, our luck is going to run out. Like, we really need to learn these lessons. Obviously, I want people to feel a bit jubilated because we've obviously won we've snatched at something and we've won a point. But that's atrocious. I hope Mikel Arteta and these players, they're not happy. They should still feel like they're defeated. And again, I always say this in every one of my streams. This again shows that at times we can be our best friends or worst enemies. We keep doing this to ourselves. We still have this element to not get more time. There's very few games where we're starting and ending games well. We started this one terribly. We ended it fairly strongly. And that's where you need a squad, and credit to the impactors off the bench. You know, again, if you come off that bench, one love to you. The only players that started today that I can't really ask anything more from: Declan Rice. I think you was as poor as everyone else, but everybody's level kind of dropped. But you did your thing today. Martinelli, I think you tried. Saka, he looked out of gas, but he tried something in the second half. Saliba, I think we just all look shaky as a team. But apart from the pen, you can't really get at you and Gabriel. Benjamin White, it weren't your best of games. Zinchenko, you deserve to come off when you came off. You was quite appalling. You know, Jesus, anonymous. Odegaard, probably the most anonymous player on the pitch, if I'm completely honest with you, because at least the others are putting themselves around. Odegaard's still my guy, but we've got to be honest with ourselves. You weren't there today. Like, there'll be other games, like our passing, our build-up play, our chance creation. We've just got possession for the sake of possession's sake. It was poor, isn't it? So we've got to hold our licks and count our blessings and go again. That's all we can. That's all we can really do. Like, boy. Because sometimes we're not going to get sometimes we're going to get what we deserve. Sometimes you win when you don't deserve to win. You lose when you don't deserve to. Sometimes you get what you deserve. I can't say we scored 2 goals. And in those moments, I can't say we didn't deserve a point. But based on our application across 90 minutes, I don't think there's a single Arsenal fan that could sit there and say we deserved anything from that game. Which, don't get twisted, I'm happy. Like, I definitely didn't want to lose to these boys. But, like, we got to be honest with ourselves. Jorginho must not start going forward. I think what Jorginho has showed, or what it shows, is that Jorginho's one of them man, or one of them players. There's certain games you can get away with it. You can do a little City sort of thing there. Or last season, I wouldn't advocate it this year, but Newcastle, where Jorginho came in, or I'm sure he started against Chelsea last year. He's a man that over 38 games, you can really plan with him for 10 games. But it's not going to bang. Havertz right now, his thing is the impacting thing off the bench. Fabio Vieira, for some reason, weren't involved. But you're a bit hot and cold. It really should be Partey, Odegaard, and Rice, in my opinion. And when you look at it, Partey's fitness permits, but Partey and Rice, and more so Rice, regardless of what Mikel Arteta wants to do game by game, Rice is a man that's always going to play and has to be utilized in whatever Arteta's doing. We ain't got too much of this. All week we've been speaking about, for me, I think we need a midfielder. We need and when I say midfielder, obviously you've got Odegaard, you've got these guys that can play in those roles, but organic people that genuinely are going to be options to play in that pivot. So with Declan Rice and Partey, or with Jorginho today, I don't think Jorginho was terrible today, but with Jorginho, you just know that he can't defend like that. Like, and when you've got him and Zinchenko and the game goes like this, then obviously it was shaky, it was booky, it was that, you know, there isn't what more can I say, really and truly? Like what more can I say? You lot all watched it, you all saw what I saw. Like, it was meaty, but we got away with it, and it, you know, that's the only things we did well. I've only got time for the subs today, really, if I'm honest with you. Lot, the subs did their thing. The games were on the front foot. Poch's plan, like you saw, they were just on a counter attack. They weren't exactly just a counter attack, but they were on that today, man. Now, I thought Eddie and Smith Rowe was good off the bench, better than what we saw in the first. So I thought they did all right. Nearly the centre backs, Rice, were good. Penalty kick or not, we should have cruised to a 2-1 victory. We lost that game today. Can't convince me otherwise. Huh? Are you speaking from a Chelsea perspective? Oh, you must be, because we weren't in that. Exactly, man. There's too many defensive There's too many things. Like, I did think that this would be the same team that went out there against City, but it just shows you we've got to learn to create more chances, and we've got to get ourselves mentally there. Don't get it twisted. Football's a weird game. Sometimes you're just going to have a bad game. Sometimes everything's going to go wrong. And I hope that was today. Cool. You know, Arteta's big on structure, and whatever we say about this team, the structure's been there, but it weren't there today. So if it was just a bad game and it was one of those things, it happens in football. Everything was that. But why? because I don't think the players went out there wanting to play bad. I don't think Arteta did it. But why was the structure bad? Arteta's got to take responsibility. Why did the players look frail? Because as much as Zinchenko, for example, might be poor defensively, he's not an idiot. You'd imagine he's self-aware. I can't get caught out. Benjamin White was better than Zinchenko, but both my fullbacks weren't good enough today, if I'm completely honest. The marking from Gabriel and Saliba in the build-up to the penalty is not good enough as well, if I'm completely honest with you. Jorginho, it's not that he plays bad. It's just, on the transition, it's not a strength of his. It is what it is. I guess hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I think Tomiyasu should have played today if you're going to whatever. Emil deserves to start out. I mean, he saved his bacon again. He came off the bench against Bournemouth last year when Nelson became the poster boy. Well, let's be honest, I love Mikel Arteta and what you're doing, but when you, in the last 18 months, last season and now, when I see you draw for Smith Rowe in circumstances like that, that tells me you're out of ideas. So